What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Love and Rice Podcast with your host, Aunt Ma.
I'm Christina Ma.
And we have our special guest back, Miss Kelly Mealy. And I've been loving the episodes that we've been having. So thank you for doing this.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
If you guys have not checked her out, check her out on Netflix. Okay, Bling Empire. There's 3 seasons. And also check out her Instagram and everything else that we'll have in the description box. Make sure to follow Love and Rice on all podcast platforms and YouTube as well. And on this episode, so previously we were talking about how Bling Empire even happened. And then we talked about, all the drama in the past relationships and now how you've met your new guy, right? And now I want to talk more about this new motherhood that you've came across.
I
don't know. I'm sorry. This is a guy.
Just fell on your lap.
And so there's just a lot to being a new mother, having a newborn. And, we mentioned how this was all done in such a short amount of time. And you all started a business at the same time, right? So you're saying how you have pretty much 2 babies that you started around the same time. Having a baby in such a short amount of time with William, does that affect anything in your parenting styles? Because you guys talked about parenting, you talked about having kids, but I'm not sure if people even talk about parenting and how they would parent and stuff like that.
We actually did talk about
you
parenting
did?
stuff before, yeah.
Okay.
Because he studied child development in college.
What can this guy do?
Right? Jeez.
So we actually did talk about a little about parenting style, and we're very similar because I think just the way we're brought up. Of course, I feel like there's always conflicts here and there, but we haven't really hit anything like major yet.
I think one of the I feel like the parenting style has changed though when you find out the gender. Because when you have a daughter, it's like there's everything. I don't know. When I found out I was having a daughter, everything that I wanted to do just kind of flew out the window.
Like what?
I don't know. It was no more of like, I want to do this with my daughter. It's more of like, oh my gosh, I'm having a daughter. Like, how do I protect her? And it's just so different.
Yeah, I get it.
So the other thing about having a daughter that scares me is because, we put a lot of content out on social media.
Right.
How has that been for you putting your baby out there? I was like this.
Was that something? I mean, knowing that you guys actually talked about like parenting styles and stuff, like was that something that you guys talked about too, knowing that you're like on social media, you're like out there, you're a public figure now?
We did talk about this, but I think also another thing is like even if she's not on social media, I feel like there's always ways to, because we're out and about as well, we just rather for us to put it out there because I don't think there's a way to like really avoid her in a sense. Even if you avoid her on social media, there's also people can take pictures and press and all that stuff.
Yeah. Going with the social media thing, how has that been for you as a new mom? Because when she was going through it, people would comment all the time, like, you should do this, you should do that as a mom. And you're like, no.
And I know you actually posted something about that too. And I remember you're being vulnerable and kind of like showing your day-to-day life, right? And then I know that there are like some moms that were maybe going at it with each other.
Yeah, the mom group is very like opinionated,
right? Yeah.
But there's also a lot of women who are so supportive as well. It really is a beautiful community, and I just discovered that because I've always had respect for moms, but having a kid myself, it's a whole nother level of respect. But that one was funny too because I just put together like a simple like reel. My daughter is 6 months, and we're like, there's this daycare in LA that like a lot of my friends' kids go to. So I was like, yeah, let's me try to drop her off for like an hour, at the first day. And we're trying to do it for like a couple hours a day just so she can socialize, right? Because she was going through that phase where she was like, start crying when she sees people and people are talking to her. And now she's okay now, but we're like, oh, we need to socialize her more. And we've done a lot of like mommy and me classes, but she's still very like dependent, right? Like she's almost like a little too attached to where we're like, okay, we want to, maybe have her, be in a safe environment and that she can socialize with others without having to like always like running back to me kind of thing, right? So we're like, this is my first time ever. I just didn't know that was a thing. So we dropped her off at daycare for an hour. We just went around the block and walked around and just kind of picked her up afterwards. Yeah. When we dropped her off, of course, she was crying and, but like a cute cry. by posting on social media, it was like, again, and it just went crazy. People were like, she's too young. Like, and then the other group like, oh, my kids want this is the best thing ever. They learned to be more independent. And then what really kind of got to me was more like, there's this two women really got into it. And then one was like, I think it's great for independence. It's great to build their immune system. And then the other one was like, so you send your kids to get them purposely sick, and then you're a bad mom.
Oh no, that's horrible.
You know what? No, it's not. And then this one's on, and I'm just like, you know what? We don't need to be calling each other bad moms and just like hating on each other. It's everybody's personal choice, and it kind of got heated. And I was like, I'm just take it off.
Yeah, because I didn't even get to see the reel, but I saw like that you posted to try to like get the community to come together again, and I was just like, I know what that feels like, because that happens all the time where moms are just kind of like attacking each other. But for the most part, you do have the moms that always come together. Yeah. So it's just kind of sad when you see that people are like kind of judging others over something so simple. Like,
I'll show you the reel afterwards. It's literally so like silly. Like it was just like, yeah, come with me to drop her off.
Oh no.
Yeah. Like, so it was those two people going against each other, but do you actually get comments of moms telling you how to parent your child?
There are, of course, but you know, you take a grain of salt. At the end of the day, you know, it's your baby and your kid. And there's no one right way, you know, for everything. So, and everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they don't know everything about you.
I have to mention, I forgot about this lady. She's like, she was commenting on my about that reel, and she's like, maybe instead of so she said, I think because Kelly wants to buy more expensive purses, so she doesn't want to hire a nanny. I was
no!
I was like, what does it do?
That's
it's like
block.
It's so weird, right? It's
right
like,
away.
what does that have to do with anything? People would just.
But
find
the funny thing is that
excuses.
because I think the bling, I think everything it's always about money. Like always somehow turns into money.
It comes
like,
with the territory.
It's just so weird. And then I got more people asking me for money in DMs than like than like
That's
ever.
crazy.
Like,
Who are you people?
What are these
That's so
people asking
crazy.
you for?
just for money.
Like,
They're
how much?
sometimes thousands and
Really?
whatever. Yeah. And then sometimes they will like, some of just straight up like, I want a purse. Can you help me get a purse?
Wow.
Some of it will like, we'll go in on and again, I don't know if it's true or real, but they tell me just really sad story, and they don't just DM, they email as well. But
yeah, I mean, we get those too. We get
we've
like the
gotten
DMs,
those sometimes.
emails where it's like, "Hey, someone's sick. Can you help?" Things like that, and we're like, we don't know if this is true.
you
Right.
don't, right? And then like, so they probably send it to like, I don't know, like I have no idea, but yeah, I get like at least probably 5 to 10 a day.
Really?
It's a lot.
I can't imagine.
Wow.
Jeez.
I mean, like normal girls would get like how much for your underwear or how much for your feet pics, right?
I don't know if that's normal.
I don't think
either.
that's normal. I guess if you're on OnlyFans.
Maybe, that's true. It depends on the type of page you have.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. So I guess that's your branding now.
I don't know if it's a good thing. Like, I don't think it's a good thing.
Stop asking Kelly for money, guys.
Yes,
Stop.
do not go into her DMs. She will not give
Please
you
don't.
any money. We don't condone that either. Okay.
Yeah, I work for every single dollar.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Serial entrepreneur here. So, I mean, guys, if you want her to give you some money, you got to buy more hot jong jars. Okay.
That's true.
That's
Like,
the only
a
way
lot.
it's going to happen. That's all I'm saying.
No, don't listen to him, because they're gonna be like, oh, actually, this is what he said, and then they're gonna DM Kelly, and no,
All right,
don't
so
do that, guys.
Should we go back to mom talk?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't even know how that happened.
So, being a new mom is very difficult. Even being a new dad, just parenting
Right, just a
in
new
general. What are some of the, I guess, not problems? Well, yeah, problems that you've had to come across as a new mom.
So many, like you just learning everything on the fly. It's really hard. But I think the hardest thing I've ever experienced in life by far was breastfeeding.
Why?
Because I didn't know that was a thing. Like,
Yes.
I don't know. I thought I'd done enough research. I thought I talked to enough moms, but for some reason, just like I didn't know breastfeeding was hard. I just thought, oh, I don't know, like it just happens, like naturally,
Right.
you know. But it was so hard, and then like we went through like, oh my god, the first like 2 months was just such a roller coaster, getting her to latch, and there was a point I was literally like, I was feeding her and then supplementing because I wasn't producing enough,
Right.
and then I pump. and then start the cycle all over again.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
You know?
Yes.
And then the amount of bottles you have to wash, like it's insane. Like, so that was really hard and so much stress.
I think what everyone doesn't know is that when you first have a baby and you spend your first 2 nights in the hospital, you have the nurses helping you latch the boob on
they helped.
the mouth.
Okay.
I had like lactation consultants left and
everyone
right.
Exactly.
helps. So you think it's perfect,
Yeah.
right? And then when
Until
you
you
go home
go
by yourself,
home.
you're like, wait, what's going on? How come my
Yeah.
baby's not latching? And then I think she cried when that happened because
Yeah.
she couldn't get the
We all
baby to
cried.
latch. And
Right?
We
Because
all
when you're a
cried.
new mom, you're like, oh no, I'm lacking in this because I can't produce milk, or I'm not able to get the baby to latch on. Like, what am I doing wrong? Right? So you kind of like feel mom guilt in a sense.
Oh yeah, and it's like feeding. You're not able to feed your own baby.
Right.
It's like such a sad feeling and frustrating feeling, and like just so defeated, you know. But that was really really hard.
does that cause any type of postpartum depression?
I was really lucky as far as, and I can see why, like postpartum depression, because your hormone just like, it drops like
Exactly.
insane, crazy. And I very unfortunately, I have 2 friends who passed away from postpartum depression. So that was such a thing I was really scared of. But I was really lucky where I had a lot of support in my house when, you know, when Mealy was born. So that was actually really helpful. So I was never really alone. And I had a lot of, you know, if I wanted to, you know, just rest for a little bit, I was able to pass her to somebody, you know.
That's
So,
good.
and I have food that was made for me. So I was very, very lucky. But single moms, like, so much respect. Like, they're heroes.
It's a lot of work.
Heroes.
How do you feel like everyone was very supportive in a sense where like, because I know that when I was trying to breastfeed too, being a new mom and everything, like there was a lot of pressure of, oh, you should just breastfeed, don't supplement, don't give formula. Do you feel like anyone was trying to push you towards that direction, or they didn't agree with it?
I don't think anyone's really pushing me, but I think just subconsciously, because we know breastfeeding is the best, and I think I gave myself more pressure than anybody else gave me.
Okay.
You know,
Well, that's good, because I feel like you always put more pressure on yourself, but
Yeah.
just knowing that you had like your moms, right,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
there
yeah.
for you and stuff.
yeah.
Dealing with all that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And then you're still also doing all these other, you got businesses and other things that you're doing. Like, how do you find time to, I guess, self-love and work on your mental health? Because that's something
Yep.
that you're always talking about.
Yep. It's very hard. And I'm just kind of getting back to it. You know, I for sure put it like self-care. I've for sure put it
In the
in
back
the back
burner.
burner for a long time. But, you know, now like I still try to, you know, if I can, get a massage, you know,
Okay.
like, you know, and then also voice that out, right? If you have a support system, if you have a, you know, your significant other or your family or anything, just voice out, hey, is it possible for you to watch my baby for an hour and a half? I think you have to just have to ask, like,
Right.
like just so I need a little time, you know? And also, you know, now she's past her 6 month, so she sleeps, you know, pretty well now.
Yeah.
So at 7:30 she goes on, that's the time I'm like cleaning the house and I'm like getting organized and that kind of stuff.
The 6-month mark is like the sweet spot. That's when they get all the vaccinations,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like now everyone can come see the baby, and
Yeah.
so that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like it's just so different because for us, I don't know. I'm just like hearing this side of your what is it, your newborn phase, right? And then for us, I'm just like, oh, I wish we had that support system too.
Well, the thing is that she, like she said, she voices it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then at the same time, she also looks for the services, right?
That's true,
So like,
right?
she, you have a nanny.
I had a confinement nanny.
Okay, so that's different. So, we're talking about nanny is what we would want,
Right.
But a confinement nanny, this is something that is it only in the Asian culture?
No, actually, it's surprising. So I put a video out on postpartum confinement, and actually, a lot of other cultures
Really?
have that as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've only seen Chinese ladies have this.
Yeah, actually, a lot of other culture have that as well.
And like, what is the reason for this?
Your body to heal, you know, because when women give birth, it's a big undertake for their body, and their body
Yeah.
needs time to heal.
Yeah, you're losing all these nutrients and vitamins too when you're like going through labor and giving birth.
As the guy, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, that sounds great, but then my wife didn't go through that, so I'm just like, most people don't have that. you
Yeah,
know?
that's
Like,
true.
So I'm like what else is so special about it, or like what does this nanny do?
I think, well, here's the thing. I think like people have like a conception that postpartum period in the Asian culture is because it's a lot of money, right?
Right.
But also majority of the families do it. You know, they do give the mother or the new mom a
That's
month
true.
at
Yeah.
least. You know, the family will come help, all that stuff. But the nanny really, she's just like does everything pretty much. Helps take care of the mom. Her job is to help take care of the mom and the baby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So she
Right.
cooks all the meals.
Oh,
So
that's
all the
nice.
confinement meals are very specialized because like week 1 you're supposed to like eat food that's like helps with your blood, like help because you lose a lot of blood,
Yeah.
right?
Did you have the was it like chicken
pig-
ginger soup and like pig's feet and
all
all of
stuff.
that?
The ginger pig's feet
With the rice wine.
a lot of tea,
Okay.
and like pretty much everything. You get the fish because fish also certain type of fish is very good for milk production. She can do lactation massages for you if you want, and she spends the night with the baby if you want her to, but majority they do.
How do you find this person to trust? Like,
It's a little bit hard. I was very lucky that I got a referral from a friend's friend.
Okay,
But we interviewed a lot of people, and there's a whole community. I mean, they're very professional. A lot of them, they go to school for this.
Really?
So it's not just like,
Wow.
you know.
oh, I thought it was just like some Asian mom or like Asian auntie.
Yeah, in Asia especially, they go to professional school for this to
Oh,
train. Yeah.
wow.
Well, yeah, because they gotta watch the baby.
Yeah. So we got ours from Taiwan, and she came out and stayed with us for 2 months, and it was so great. And she just became part of our family during that time.
Where does she stay? Just like in an extra bedroom somewhere?
She stayed in. They stay with the baby in the nursery, so they have an extra bed in the nursery for the nanny.
So they take on that responsibility so that you can rest and recover.
rest,
Wow.
That's awesome. So literally from when the baby wakes up and goes to sleep, that nanny's there.
Yeah, but you kind of help out too because you know she cooks and all that stuff. And then
Right.
in the afternoons, pretty much we gave her the whole time to nap and
Oh, that's
sleep.
nice.
So we
Okay.
took care of the baby during that. But yeah, they're on 24/7.
So at what point of having someone help you like this, where you're like, this is great, but also, wait, she's spending too much time with my baby. I need to bond with my baby more. Right?
I think it's a balance, right? And that's also why with her, like a lot of time we kind of help take the baby, you know, like for sure it's a balance. And sometimes she's busy making food, you know.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I guess it's different because our experience with yours, because we had the kids like five years ago, right? I don't even know if that was something that we even knew about, like having a nanny.
Well, our family just, I don't know, they never talked about that, so we didn't know.
Right. Well, I think because your moms were there to our moms were there to help us. And I remember like my mom was always making that chicken ginger rice with the
Yeah.
soup and everything too. And I had to drink that like for a month. I was just drinking that every single day for a month.
Were they really strict with you on like other rules, like your feet can't be cold or you can't shower, you have to wash your hair with like ginger water or something?
I would say probably the first few days.
Okay.
And then they're like, oh, actually, times have changed. We're going to be more lenient about it. Like if you can, maybe don't walk barefoot on the floor, right?
Yeah.
But with the washing the hair and stuff, I think they even came one time, like my mom would come over with like all this bag of herbs and she would run this bath for me. And then I would have to like sit in the tub and with a blanket. I don't know if you did that and like absorb all the steam.
They were pretty, I did my like feet soaking, but then like, as far as like shower, as long as I dry my hair before I come out, because back in the day, I think like when the rule came, there was really, you get cold because your body's weak and you have no immune system at the time, so they want to make sure you don't catch a cold.
This is so funny because in the Asian culture, they're always like, when there's wind or cold, like you got to be covered up because you can't
Like
let the cold air in you, right? Because it's bad for you.
Yeah.
You'll get sick and then it weakens your immune system. But then in the American culture, it's like, no, science has proven that cold has nothing to do with you getting sick. And so like I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I believe in.
I know, I'm like, this
every
is
time
how my
I'm
whole life
cold,
has
I
been.
do get sick, so I believe that.
Yeah.
But I know she was taking like a Asian ginger bath for like a couple weeks, right? That's something that you have to do too. What is a ginger bath for?
It just helps with your like energy and chi or whatever it is.
Something like that. Yeah.
I didn't see anything help.
What do you? I think it's just supposed to help, like with the healing process,
healing,
probably.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what I hear from friends is that having this confinement nanny, it costs like $4,000 to $5,000 or $6,000 for the month. More.
That must be like, I don't even know how many years ago that rate is.
Okay.
There's no way. Yeah.
Does that include the groceries? Does she go buy them and she like?
No. You she'll tell you what to buy. She'll always like buy some herbs whenever you reimburse her.
Oh, wow.
And then you also normally tip another 20% on top.
After the month?
Yeah.
So you're paying for their time and then
Yeah. But honestly, they work so hard.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear it's the best thing ever.
It is. I'm very lucky.
Damn, we should just have another kid so we can experience that. I want someone
But
to
they
cook for me
have,
for a
you
month.
know, the funny thing is that in the US, there's more and more these postpartum facilities pop up in really nice hotels. So I saw one on social media. It was, I think it was in New York. It was like a really nice hotel, and then you're supposed to move in with your significant other and the baby for like 2 weeks afterwards. And they have, you know, on-site nurse and people teach you everything, and they cook all the meals for you. But I think like a postpartum like caring is getting more and more popular.
You know, that sounds good, but to be honest, when you're in the hospital for 3 days and you're not sleeping for 3 days, I'm like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into a hotel.
But if you go to a hotel, somebody can take care of you.
Exactly. And you're
true.
like living there. And I feel like that's a thing now, because you always hear about these moms having like postpartum depression and then where it affects them and the baby. And like I've heard of a lot of stories about like moms taking their own lives and taking the babies with them, you know? So that's just, that's crazy to hear.
Was the idea of having the nanny you or William?
I don't think it was. I think it was just a common thing, like I don't know, I guess for me, and then both of our moms were like,
I see.
I don't know. I think it's just such a I don't know, known or regular thing, or things that everybody just do, like in a sense. I don't know.
So everything just really came naturally to you guys because you guys were on the same page about a lot of things, and you didn't really have like too many conflicts.
Not too many conflicts. He didn't really like, at first he's like, oh, we don't need a nanny, and I was like, well, it's really a lot of work. And then he thinks we can do everything, and I was like, no, we should.
That's every guy in dad.
We need to help.
That's true.
But of course, as soon as like the nanny moved in, he's like, oh yeah,
I get it, right?
Yeah, because in a dad's perspective, I'm just like, nah, like we can do it. I'm gonna handle it. I'm the provider, right? So it's like, I get how we all think about that. So before we close it out, I got one last question.
Okay.
Are you having a second child?
I think
people keep asking you that, right? Like you have this baby still.
Yeah, we want to enjoy our time, but we do want to have another baby, just because I think like Mealy will be a really great big sister.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you have like an idea of an age difference?
Well, I want to wait at least like a year apart, because they said that a year or 2 years actually the best for a woman's body, health wise and the risk wise. But also at the same time, because of my age, I can't wait for that long, right? Because I'm 37 right now. I'm turning 38 this year in like a month, 3 weeks.
Happy birthday!
You're a Scorpio.
I'm Scorpio. So I want to make sure, pop the second one before 40.
That sounds like a good timeline. That's reasonable.
Well, thank you for sharing all of your stories. This has been an incredible episode. Guys, check out Kelly in the description box. You'll see everything where you can click on her Instagram and her show on Netflix on Bling Empire. Also, make sure to follow us on Love and Rise Podcast on YouTube and all podcast platforms. And we'll see you guys next time.